Good evening. This is gonna be our Grandville Zeta VEX IQ Robotics Competition Blended League. We should be starting soon. I think we are just setting up and getting all of our teams ready currently, but I do want to start off this live by thanking our sponsors, Bradford White and Westwood AI, we're actually in our buildings due to them and the opportunities they've given our students. We're very appreciative. We're actually in the Westwood AI robotics building currently, and where our Grandville kids build their robots is going to be our Bradford White building. And we should be starting in just a moment. And we are going to be going to qualification round 2 in just a moment because our qualification round 1 team just needs another moment to prepare, so we're just going to skip ahead for a moment. And those teams are going to be 63165R and 4931A. All right, and as we start this, and we're already 30 seconds in, at 30 seconds left in the round, drivers. But I do want to help you guys understand this game. Because it can be quite complicated. But if you look at this front half, that robot that just knocked down the pegs on a slant, that actually gives them points. I want to say 2 points, but I can't be exact with that. It can fall off the board. It can just be off the peg, and it'll still give them points.
We need an update. If you need to have something to hook it up to update it, we do have at our pit admin table a running ready to update brains as they're needed. So let's try to keep an eye on it over the night so that we're not getting to the field and then realizing we need an update.
Currently, we're just waiting on the refs agreeing with the score before we finalize it.
So they're just trying to verify. Looks like we might be ready to come back.
right, and they scored 13 points. And I want to give you some rundown on the points. So the connected pins, I will show you when we go back to our board in just a moment. If we look at those yellow pins with that red, and as this robot on the left actually is being a great example. So a pin by itself is actually 0 points, but when it's stacked, each pin is worth 1 point. And there is also bonus points if there are 2 colors. I want to say 5 points, but I will have to double check myself as a bonus. So 2 points plus the 5 bonus points for the 2 colors, you get 5 extra points. So that's 7 points just for that 2 stack, but also because it's in the middle. Yellow field, you do also get bonus points on top of that. I think that is 10 points if it's on the middle section of aka the yellow section. And the teams currently on field 1 is actually 2060N and 4931D. Alright, and their score for that qualification round was going to be 36 points. Alright, and we do have to fix our scoring currently, but qualification round 1 was going to be a 30 points of 36, and then our qualification round 2, our points was going to be 13.
For your patience. Here we go on field 3, match 3. We have 4945B as in boy with 2060K. Remember, they are working together to get the best score they can combined.
All right, and our teams for this round is going to be 4945B and 2060K.
So as you can see, the game here is all about taking these pins and stacking them. You get those stacks are different colors.
All right, and this score is just looking back at our qualification round 36 after we had to change our points. Again, qualification round 1, their points was 36, and qualification round 2 was 13.
They have to start the match within. And when they get inspected, we check those sizes. We are finding more and more this season that some clubs, some teams have a mechanism that is in one orientation when they get inspected, but if it flips up and over their body into a different orientation, it actually makes them out of size. And so our head ref is just verifying if that happened or not in this match, because unfortunately if they went out of size in the match, they would get disqualified for that match.
If you didn't hear what he just said, Mr. O is just explaining the rules when it comes to the size of the robots. They have to fit a certain criteria to be able to compete. I can't think of the exact measurements, but I do know as they start the round, they can't be taller than 15 inches. But because of this game, they may have to extend something to get taller or shrink a little bit. During the round, it doesn't matter, but when they start the round, their robot can be no taller than 15 inches.
So unfortunately in that match, 4945B as in Roy did go out of size during the match. They were notified at inspection by our head ref that they couldn't use that part of their mechanism because it would make them go out of size. It happens, mistakes occur, so they will be disqualified for that match, which means they get 0 points. The other team they were going with still gets the full points that both teams earned for that match. And the good news is by the end of all these scrimmages, like 1 or 2 of their lowest matches drop anyway. So they'll still be fine. They can still compete. They just got to be careful about using that mechanism the rest of the time. We're back down on field 1. Qualification 4. Our 2 teams.
All right, our teams for this round is going to be 4931E and 4945E.
Looks like 4945E might be stuck on something there. They're working on it though. Perseverance is a big part of all of this. Our red team has now got a 2-color stack.
If we look on this left-hand side, that 2-color stack, that yellow with the red stacking on top of it, the point system for that, again, is a peg with itself, it is worth 0 points, but when it is stacked, each peg is worth 1 point, so that is 2 points. But because it has 2 colors, the yellow and the red, they get 5 bonus points for that, so that stack by itself is 7 points. Our score for qualification round 3, their points was 8.
All right, our teams agreed with their score. So the score you're seeing on the screen is actually delayed a match, just so you know. So qualification 3 that happened all the way down there in field 3 was actually an 8. We'll find out what the teams that just competed on field 1 got.
All right, and our next qualification round teams is going to be 63-16-5B and 20-60J.
You'll notice how how different these robots all look from each other. That is the goal of this program, right? These
If we
students
look
have
at this bottom right corner, this robot is actually doing a super smart tactic, if you do ask me. So that bottom block of theirs is going to be blue, and they're putting in the blue corner, which gives them extra points. So that gives them actually 10 bonus points, and as well as it being a 2 stacked with a multicolor, so 2 points plus 5, the 7, and those 10 bonus points for the bottom block being in that blue corner. So 7 plus 10, 17, if I can do math correctly today, just from that one little corner. And that is excluding all of the double stacks that they have in that middle, especially on that yellow section. If we look back at qualification round 4, their points ended up being 13.
It's called a color bonus. It adds to their stack points.
Alrighty, and our next round, our teams are going to be 63, 16, 5P, and 2060J. I lied. They're actually 2060G and 49301C.
A 14. Here we are, match 6 on field 3. 2060G working alongside 49301C. So they put the remote down appropriately. Now they pull it to their side to try to fix it.
If we look at this robot on the right side, so they can actually help their robot, they can fix it, but in order to do that, they have to put their controller down and fix it, and they cannot touch their controller again until they fix their issue.
Good for them.
All right, and if we look back at qualification round 5, their points ended up being 37. I do want to have a quick reminder that our scores are delayed a match.
All right, our previous match that happened on field 2 a few moments ago, qualification 5, is 37. That's a great score for today. Good job for those two teams. We'll find out what just happened down there on field 3 here in just a moment. All right, we're back on field 1, qualification number 7. It will be 2060X.
All right, qualification round 7, it is going to be 2060F and 4945D. And I do want to point out, because this robot in the left hand is still holding blocks, that if they are holding blocks, they actually do not count by the end of the round. But I think that might only apply to stacks. I will have to double check, but if we look back at qualification round 6, they ended up getting 9 points.
All right, match 8 here on field 2, 2060F and 4945D as in dog. Lots of communication between the teams. That's what we like to see. Talking at the field is totally fine between the teams, just not from the stands unless it's let's go. We have our 4945D robot that can do 2 at once. Ooh.
Good job, guys.
Yep, good job, teams. All right. So the robot was touching the stack. They tipped in there upside down. If the robot is touching a stack, they can get credit for touching pins, but they don't get credit for the stack. So it's kind of a two-edged sword there. They got points at the end for touching 2 elements, but they didn't get credit for the stack in the beat.
All right, and looking back at qualification round 8, they got 11 points.
Qualification 9 on field 3.
Qualification round 9, our team is going to be 4945A and 206A.
Looks like we may have some starting trouble here on our red team side. They're going to try to fix it. Good for them for giving in some effort. Looks like it's running a little bit, but might be having some steering issues. In the meantime, our blue team is still going for it, doing everything they can to get some points for both teams. Five seconds left in this match. Good job, teams. Nice effort. Way to be a good team. Way to keep trying down there, Eaglebots. Good job. All right, and our scoreboard has caught up.
Alrighty, and our scoreboard is caught up. So that round that just finished, they ended up with 9 points.
This is qualification number 10 on field 1.
Alright, and our teams for qualification 10 is going to be 4945C and 2060M.
Lots of enthusiasm, we love it. And they're off. off of that, off of the starting pins there on the wall. Still working on setting up some of those stacks. They do have a 3-stack in the robot, but they cannot be touching it if they want to count. Open the gate, pull out, they got it. I don't know if it's a scoring bonus, we'll have to see, but at least it's a 3-stack for now. 3 seconds. Nice job, teams. I heard our head rep say that 3-stack was a color bonus. This might be our high score of the night. See what they did. 32, close to the high score. Still really good though. It's right up there.
All right, and for that round, they ended with 32 points.
On to field 2, qualification 11, 4945F and 61187A. And they're off. Please remember that we are live streaming tonight on the RoboDogs YouTube channel. We also are posting all of these results on VEX. You can download it for any phone. So, nice score here on 11. Qualification 11.
All right, for qualification 11, that came out to 23 points. And then for qualification 12, we have 4931B and 2060N.
But they're so close, I bet they can fix it for the next match. Qualification 12, 49301B, 2060N. Here we go.
For qualification 12, that was actually 58 points. And then for qualification 13, we have 49.31D and 63.16.5P.
For some previous qualification rounds, the scores did get a little messed up, but qualification around 12 was still 58 points.
Delays, we're getting sorted out. First night. We're learning just as they're learning. This will be qualification match number 13 on field 1. 49301D as in dog. And 63165P. Couple more unique robot designs. You might notice that our blue team, which is 63165P, has some blue wiring or blue tubing. It's actually tubing, not wiring. That is for pneumatics. A couple years ago, VEX started to try to incorporate pneumatics in their elementary and middle school kits, and some of our elementary kids are really taking to using pneumatics now. So even at a 4th, 5th, and 6th grade level, they're learning how pneumatics work and how to use them to open claws, close claws, lift arms. Pretty cool. A couple of 2-color stacks. Now they're just going for those color bonuses. Can they get away in time? 3, 2, 1. They did. Nice job, teams.
Qualification round 7's points actually were 2 points.
Good job for these teams for verifying, though. They're appropriately asking the ref, are you sure you got this? She's making clarifications. That's exactly what this is all about. They got to learn how to speak appropriately to adults when they think there was a mistake made. For those teams for speaking up for themselves. All right, match 14 on field 2, 49301C and 49301A. Couple teams for the same program here working together. Got some fixing going on our red team. They got to get it back in that starting position. Still got 40 seconds, up and running again. Good job, you guys. Whoa, throwing parts at a ref. I don't know if that's a disqualification.
I apologize for all of our little technical difficulties, but I think we have them all figured out now. Qualification round 13's points was 24. All right, qualification round 15, our teams are going to be 206 OM and 6316 5S.
We had 2060F and 4945B as a boy competing together here. B doing a good job of adjusting their driving because they don't want their robots to go out of size again. So good for them for hearing the instructions, learning from it, and figuring out resolution. That's great. This game does require 2 drivers and 1 human loader. As you look at our teams in the field here, you notice our human loaders take different methods. I have one standing up in between the drivers and another one sitting Indian style on the floor here, which, whatever, they do what they need to do to make sure that they're competing in the game the way they want. Good job, teams. Way to go. A little bit of excitement, which we love. They seem to approve of those scores, I guess. And that was a 25 for that match down there in field 3. Good job for those teams. That's a great score tonight.
All right, and that round was
and
25
now,
points.
Seems to have popped back up again. Match 16 in field 1. We have 2060M and 63165S. Tricky to line those pins up sometimes to get those stacks. Our human loader puts a new fresh pin on the field. See if they can unload it from their elevator mechanism. 15 seconds. Our red team is going to attempt to get another 2-color stack on the field here. Oh, so close. Can they save it? Oh. That was close, but I think they got it. They all agree with the score. Good job, teams. The match before that, or no, I'm sorry, that was that match we just did. They got 20 points. Good job, teams. Way to go. They just missed out on that color bonus with that 3 stack, but next time they'll get out of there quicker, I bet. Match 17, field 2, 61187.
For qualification 17, we have 61-18-7A and 49-31E.
For most of our teams, this is the first actual competitive event of the season, so this is their first real experience for general. So they're doing a great job tonight of coming here, planning, staying calm, competing, working together. It's a fun thing for space, both the one on the tower and the one on the ground counted for the color bonus. That's a pretty big score for today. See what it is. 50 points there on field 2.
For qualification 18, we have 2060G and 63165R.
So we're almost at the end of 18 here at field 3. We have 2060G and 63165R competing with each other, of course. 5 seconds. That was a score of 0 here on field 3. Great effort, and we remind the teams that lowest...
That score was 0 for qualification 18, and for qualification 19, we have 2060K and 2060X.
Match 19, 2060K and 2060X. These are two of our Grandville Oakstown teams. We're working together to see if they can maximize their score. All right, a 3-color stack in the corner color bonus. That's going to add up nicely. They're trying to just brush by one of these pegs here on the wall stakes. It's not quite.
If you heard that mention of that 3-color stack, that is in the blue corner, and that bottom block is blue. And the amount of points for that is actually super beneficial. So the 3-color stack is an extra 15 points. And you get 3 points for the 3 blocks, and it being in that corner is 10 points. So it should be, I don't know the math behind that. It's been a long day, I think 20-something.
It just is now showing qualification 14, so that score was 13. For qualification 20, we are going to have 4945C and 4945A.
Match 20 on field 2. We have 4945C and 4945A. Again, 2 EagleBots teams competing together here. Same program. Not sure how often they get to drive together at practices, but I would think probably more so than they get to drive with other programs.
I just want to mention that earlier we did skip past the qualification round 14's total, and their total ended up being 13. That was just delayed due to one of our refs wanting to get some clarification with our head ref before it was official. But we got that cleared, and their score ended up being 13.
That previous match, match 19, was a score of 13.
For qualification 19, that was 32 points. And then for qualification 21 coming up, we have 49.45E and 49.45F.
All right, we're going to keep moving, of course. We're trying to get out of here on time for everyone tonight. So right over to field 3. Match 21, 4945E and 4945F. Another couple of EagleBots teams going together here. E gets a quick 2-color stack. They just got to be able to let go of it and get out of there. F gets a 2-stack. Not quite in the color bonus yet, but it is a 2-stack, and they are not touching it currently. 10 seconds left. Hopefully E is backed off enough that they're not touching their stack anymore. Oh, I think F is trying to get that color bonus. Don't knock it over. And nice job, teams.
That score for qualification 20 was 0. And then for qualification 22, we're going to have 49.45D and 20.60J.
So we're going to move on. Back to field 1. Match 22. And we have 4945D and 2060J working together here. Our blue team human loader is doing their best to make sure they're keeping a blue one on the field, on that blue strip where they can load by hand. That way the robots can come and keep making stacks. Oh, we got a double stack going into a B. They got it. Can they get out of there? Can they get out of there? 11, 10. 5, 7. Good try. Good try. Nice job, teams. That's the first time I've seen anyone try that. That was pretty cool.
For qualification 21, that score was 14, and for qualification 23, we have 206A and 4931B.
All right, match 23 here on field 2. 206A and 49301B as in boy. Quick tip for our audience in case you weren't sure. On your screen, where you see the team numbers, there's a little white box. Inside of that white box is another number. That is their current ranking. That does update throughout our league nights according to what their current ranking is. So if you're not following along on VEX and you're ever curious what rankings our teams are, it will show you on your screen in that little white box.
Looking back to qualification 22, that score was 6. And then for qualification 24, we have 49-31A and 61-18-7A.
Just ask for a clarification of score here, which is totally within the rules and encouraged. So they're just verifying. And they confirmed. Our scores have gotten one match behind, maybe not. Maybe that's caught up. Was that a 6 on that one? Our scores are showing up one match behind, so that's okay. So the 6 you see was for field 1. It'll catch back up again. We're going to keep moving though. With this being our first league night, it's important that if you're not familiar with how VEX league nights work, they'll have 4 matches tonight. In a couple weeks, we'll meet again, and they'll have another 4 or 5 matches. Then we'll meet again and have another 4 or 5 matches, and then we'll have a final night. Coverage continues for that we have a league night up until our finals. Good attempt at that blue corner. We have 49301A and 61187A here on field 3. I see a 2-color stack. Another 2-color stack. Oh, going for that middle standoff tower. Hard to line these up. Hard to line them up. They got 20 seconds. Oh no! They still have 10 seconds to try to get some more points somehow.
Oliver.
Oh, they just got it off the pegs. That's going to be a couple, I think it's an extra 4 points right there just at the end.
For qualification 23, they actually got 23 points. And for qualification 25, we have 2060M and 2060F.
All right, teams agreed. Good job, teams down here. Looks like we might have caught up. That was a score of 23 there for match 23. That makes sense. Match 23 scores 23 points. Not sure they could do that again if they tried. And actually, that was 2 ago, so I guess that was match 24, because now we're on 25. Match 25 on field 1, 2060M and 2060F.
For qualification 24, that was yet again another 23 points. And for qualification 26, we have 2060N and 2060K.
Just before the one that finished, match 24 from field 3 with a score of 23. So that's 2 matches in a row that were 23. We'll have to see what match 25 scored here in a moment. In the meantime, we're going to do match 26 on field 2, 2060N and 2060K. Just clarification. We try to give reminders, especially on the first few nights, but as our nights go on and competitions increase, we need to get a little more strict on the rules. But tonight, our head coach is reminded when the human loader puts a pin in the human loader area, it has to be touching that colored bar. Not quite touching it. We gave more reminder. Human loader, make sure it's touching that red bar.
For qualification 25, that score came out to 19. And for qualification 27, we have 63.16.5S and 63.16.5P.
Unfortunately, our scoring may make you wait a couple matches. I'm not going to tell you. Our previous match was a 19, though, so that was great. Both teams agreed that a 64 sounds Match 27, field 3, 63165S and 63165P. Both teams from Caledonia Robotics working together here. Got some repairing happening. Our head rep reminding them to control it down. Pull your robot over. Any pins that it might be touching or hanging inside of it have to be removed. Fix it. Once it's fixed, you can pick your controller back up and keep going. Meanwhile, our blue team is over here using their pneumatic claw to try to score some points for both of them. Good job, red team, for getting it up and running. Good perseverance here on field 3.
For qualification 26, that was 64 points. And then for qualification 28, that's going to be 2060X and 4945C.
All right, back to field 1. Now on the screen you see that 64 that our previous match scored. They did a great job working together. We'll find out what match 27 did here in a moment. But for now, back to field 1. 28, we have 2060X and 4945C. So if you haven't looked at the VEX via app, I do recommend it, if for no other reason than to see some of these teams' names. These teams do such a great job of coming up with their own team names, and some of them are just hilarious. Nice job. I see some excitement. That's what it's all about.
For qualification 27, that score was 24, and for qualification 29, it's going to be 49, 45A, and 49, 45E.
They seem happy about their score. The previous match, match 27 for field 3, was a score of 24. We'll move on to match 29 on field 2. Again, a couple of Eaglebot teams who are working together. We have 4945A and 4945E. There's our switch driver sound. They have 10 seconds to switch. Oh, they got the stack. Can E drop it and get out of there in time? They've got about 20 seconds. Oh no, good try. Knocked it over. See if they can get another stack quick. 5 seconds left. Hey, they got some points for knocking the pin off the side roll. Good job, two teams here.
For qualification 28, that was 38, and for qualification 30, that's going to be 49, 31C, and 49, 31B.
That'll add to their averages. We'll find out what our match on field 2 received here in a few minutes. But for now, we're going to move to field 3 for match 30. And we have two teams, I believe, from Ada Christian. 49301C working alongside 49301B as in boy. I think that our 49301C team's track came off, so now they're just trying to figure out how they can push shipments around to help generate some points.
For qualification 29, that was 4. And for qualification 31, we're going to have 49, 31D, and 206A.
the score you see on your screen is from 2 matches ago, so they got 4 points there. Not a bad try, you know, when you're trying new things and it doesn't go your way, sometimes your score dips a little, but again, remember, they get to drop like the 2 or 3 lowest scores by the end of our final night, so they should be fine. Field 1, match 31, 49301D as in dog and 206A. Just got our driver switch in before that second buzzer. It looks like our 206A team has some pneumatics on the back mechanism that raises and lowers an arm to release their stack or keep it in.
For qualification 30, that was 27 points, and for qualification 32, that's going to be 63-16-5R and 49-45F.
Our previous match, match 30 from field 3, was a score of 27. Our head ref was again giving some reminders to our teams that they need to make sure they're keeping their hands out of the field of play. Big rule, big violation that could affect their score in additional tournaments or maybe other places, depending on who the head ref might be. We know this is their first night of competition, so we're trying to give as many warnings as we can, but they do have to stay back away from the field, cannot let their hands cross that plane for the play. Field 2, match 32, 63165R and 4945F. Looks like we have a team from our EagleBots program and from Caledonia Robotics working together. Another great thing about this program is they get to meet students from all over the place. And having a high schooler went through elementary, middle school, and is now in high school robotics, he has friends in all kinds of schools all around West Michigan because of all of the interaction they get to have. Pretty cool. We've got 2 of our starting pins cleared on the audience side of the field. 1 second. Controls down. Good job, teams.
For qualification 31, that was 14 points, and for qualification 33, that's going to be 49-45D and 49-45B.
Our previous match, match 31 from field 1, was a score of 14 for those 2 teams. They're taking their time to make sure they agree with the score, which is totally appropriate and encouraged. They all agree, so we'll move on. Field 3, match 33. And we have, again, 2 teams together from our EagleBots program, 4945D and 4945B, as in boy. from Grand Rapids Christian, so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. It's their Eagle Box Robotics program is the name, just like our Grandville teams do, RoboDogs, but they are from Grand Rapids Christian.
For qualification 32, that score was 30, and for qualification 34 coming up, it'll be 26 CJ and 49-31E.
We'll see what it was here in a little bit. Match 32 before that, of course, was a score of 30. So good job from that match. We're on to match 34, all the way back here at field 1. Both robots are making sure they're in the starting position. They both have their preloaded pin. We have 2060J and 49301E working together on field 1. So those preloaded pins either have to be like inside of the robot mechanism or at the very least just touching the robot. That is a starting position must. They have to have a preload at least touching their robot when they start. These teams both chose to start with their preload in their robot, and they're trying to make the 2-stack. Just missed that one. They do, as a combined effort, have 1 2-stack that appears to be in the color bonus. Good try. They're not quitting though. That's the important thing. We don't give up. We just keep trying again and again. Good job, teams here in field 1. Way to go. Good teamwork.
For qualification 33, that score was 32, and for qualification 35, it's going to be 63, 16.5P, and 26 CG.
That's why I leave it to the header to make the calls, because that 2-stack is actually just outside of the color bonus. So they get the 2-stack score, they don't quite get the color bonus, it's just over that white line. It's the rule, you know. We have to. It's the only way to keep it fair. A little bit of a false start, but we let it go. We let it keep working. We are on match 35 here on field 2. 63165P and 2060G. That is a Grandville Oakstown team competing alongside the Caledonia Robotics team. Making quick work here. They've got about 10 seconds left. I already see two color stacks. Whether those are color bonuses or not yet, we'll have to wait to see at the end. They're in the area. Oh, that was close to the end there. We'll have to check the ruling.
And the results for qualification round 34 was 13 points.
Houston takes out the VEX approved piece of paper measuring tool. She will count it. The paper never lies. I will say they even use pieces of paper at the high school level to check to see if things are touching, so it's a legit thing. seconds left here on field 3. Looks like a 2-stack is up on top of that standoff. As far as I know, it should count, but we'll see what our ref says when they add it up.
For qualification 35, that score is 51, and for qualification 37, it's going to be 49, 45E, and 2060X.
All right. The 2-stack on the standoff counts, which is great because that's 27 points just right there. Their score was 31. I did clarify because I wasn't even sure. It's awesome they got the one peg in the corner there, but it does have to be a 2-stack if it's going to be any sort of color bonus. So even though it's great that they got it in there, in order to have a count for anything, it needs to have one on top of it. Field 1, match 37. 4945E and 2060X. They got their 2-stack in the yellow area. I don't know for sure myself if it's a color bonus. We'll find out. Our previous match, as I said, was the 30s one.
For qualification 36, that score was 31, and for qualification 38, it's going to be 2060K and 4931D.
All right, I real quick have one of our team members here, and I'm just curious because I don't know, even though I know this team well. I see their team name is called the Goated Griffins, but I also know it's G.O.A. So I'm just curious, what does Goated stand for? Greatest of all time, id. Greatest of all time, id. Griffins. All right, I just was curious, now we know. Love these team names. Look them up on VEX if you haven't. Match 38, field 2, 2060K and 49301D. 2060K has a 3-stack in their robot. They have 25 seconds to place it somewhere and get away. Looks like they're going for that blue corner. Looks like our red team has placed a 2-stack in the yellow. They're just trying to get it in the color. Team did get their 3-stack in the... Controllers down. Good job, teams.
For qualification 37, that score was 9, and for qualification 39, it's going to be 206A and 2060N.
Our previous match on field 1 was a 9. At the end of the match, if a robot is touching at least 2 scoring elements, they get an extra 2 points. This robot is touching this pin, even though it's Not building those with stacks and trying to get him in that yellow space. That color bonus circle in the yellow space is pretty small. It is pretty impressive to get stacks in there. Controls down. Good job, teams. Yeah, good job, teams.
For qualification 38, that score was 47, and for qualification 40 coming up, we have 49-45F and 49-31E.
From across the table there too. Nice job. The match just before this one, the previous match was a 47 from field 2 over there. Good job for those teams. Ooh, I'm gonna let you guys wait to see that one. Pretty good score down there in field 3. Back to field 1. Match 40. All right, here on field 1, we have 4945F and 49301E. Let's give it up for these teams today. Working hard all night long, trying to do the best they can. Learning a lot along the way.
Almost, guys.
Can he get away? That's going to be, see how that's ruled. Of course, the score you guys were waiting for some reason didn't pop up. So the score for our previous match on field 3 was a 60-6-0. So good job to those teams.
For qualification 40, that score was 12. For qualification 41, it's going to be 2060G and 2060M.
It does count as touching more than 2, so they still got 2 points for it. But we're going to move on to match 41. This is 2060G and 2060M. There's our switch driver signal. They have 10 seconds to make that switch. They can finish a maneuver and then switch if they need to. And they should have switched by that signal. Opening the garage. They came up separate. That was a new one. Refs are just making sure they're counting up clearly.
For qualification 41, that score was 31, and for qualification 42, it's going to be 49-45B and 49-31A.
All right, we're on match 42 here in field 3. 4945B as in boy and 49301A going together. Teams in my pits, please listen carefully. Teams in the pits, as we're wrapping up, if you are a Grandville team that is the host team tonight, remember you need to stick around to help clean up. So even if your matches are done, please make sure you stick around to help clean up if you are one of our host teams. Good job, teams here in field 3. Round of applause for our teams. I imagine
Alrighty, and looking back at qualification round 39, our score was 60. And our next qualification round 43, our team is going to be 63-16-5S, as well as 49-31B.
towards the end of a long school week. Stay all night and compete. Good news is if they're going home with you, you're probably going to get some good sleep out of them tonight. But other than that, it's really important we keep encouraging them and letting them know what a great job they've done. Match 43 on field 1, 63165S, 4930B as in boy. Carefully making some stacks, pushing them in that yellow space.
And if you look at the right-hand side on our little score sheet, in those little white boxes, those are the ranks for our team so far. And so our pair for this round is our 20th ranked team with our 4th ranked team, which will change over our next few weeks of our matches.
Nice job, teams.
All right, and looking back at qualification 42, they got a score of 15. Our next round, our teams are going to be 63-16-5R and 49-31C.
Head ref just explaining why she's scoring, how she's scoring. And real quick, before our audience completely leaves, please a round of applause for our volunteer referees. They certainly do not get paid for what they're doing. They're doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. Also, an applause for our people that did the queuing and worked the pit tables. Those are parents that also volunteer their time.
All right, for qualification 43, that was 24.
I didn't realize that our 49301C team had an H drive. I don't know if you know from the end of that match.
For qualification 45, that's going to be 49, 45A, and 49, 45D.
Sideways and can allow with a separate motor to go completely sideways. Crab walk, as it's known sometimes. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen the H drive yet this year. Hold on. We'll restart. We had a robot moving before the timer. No big deal. We'll reset match 45. We have 2 matches left. We have 45 here on field 3 and then 46 back on field 1. We'll wrap up our night. (4945A) is working with 4945D. Alright, I see a 2-color stack. There's our switch driver signal. Oh, 4945D has 1 in there, but there's getting another stack. Can they get out of there in time? They've got 5 seconds. Can they drop it and go? They did. I don't know if that's in the color score or not, but they got in and out in time. I do know that.
For qualification 44, that score was 12. And then for our final match of the night, qualification 46, it's going to be 2060J and 4945C. So just a reminder, after qualification 46, we'll get that score to you all, and then we'll be ending the live stream for the night.
One last match, everyone. Yay! Getting you out of here just a touch after 8. Well, we lost some of our human loader pins. There we go. Match 46, field 1, 2060J and 4945C. See what our final match can do for us. I love that they're still being intense about it. No one's falling asleep in the field at this point, so we're still good. Trying to get that 2 stack over here from our red team. Our blue team's trying to get the rest of those pins out the starting pins. Starting pegs, I think they're called actually. They got a 2 stack. Can they get it in as color bonus? They've got 8 seconds. Oh no! It happens. It happens. That's alright. Controllers down. Good try, teams. Round of applause for everyone here tonight. Thank you, audience, for coming. We'll be here again in 2 weeks for night 2.
For qualification 45, that score was 34, and just shortly we should get that final score. And the final score for the match was a 6 for that qualification match 46. So thank you everybody for watching and have a great night.